Hey you guys, this is Tyson. I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch the video and watch this Jordan piece kind of come to life. It was over the course of probably 4 to 5 days, and I had roughly about 20 hours into it. I will say at the end of the video, there are shots of the finished product. It's like one of my pet peeves when I watch a time lapse to not get those B-roll shots at the end. So I did make sure to get those in there so that you won't be disappointed. And so this video, I just wanted to just touch on some of the things that I used in my process and just chat about this stuff. So usually with most drawings, I like to punch in the black areas pretty quickly. It just provides a really nice template for me to work from, and the only time that I'll do that is if I'm really confident in that area and like working in that area, like knowing that I'm not gonna have to go in and erase that. Like I know that I'm gonna punch that area in and it's not going anywhere. So that's the only time that I really will hit those darker areas like that, is when I know for a fact I'm not gonna have to go back and erase that stuff. Moving from left to right is the way that I always work, obviously because I'm right-handed. And my arsenal of pencils is pretty small. I use the Faber-Castell 9000s, and I only use an HB and an 8B. And the HB is that harder lead. That's for like my really soft shading, kind of my underlayer. And then I'll switch to my 8B, which is a softer lead, but a lot darker. And I just kind of build from there. I kind of will slowly shade in my light layers, get a good working structure, and then switch over to my 8B and darken that stuff up. And then for the really dark areas, I'll go in and hit that with a Faber-Castell Polychromos black. So any of the areas that you see that are really jet black, those have been hit with the Polychromos black. And then the only other pencil that I use is a Pentel mechanical pencil. It's just got a really fine tip. I think I use one that's like 0.09. Not anything special, but it just gives me a really nice line work if I need to get in something that's just really fine detailed. Obviously I can go in and sharpen like my HB. The mechanical pencil just stays sharp, and so that's why I use that. And I use it pretty sparingly. Most of the time I'm working through this drawing. I'd say 80% of the time I'm using my HB or my 8B. You'll see me switch over occasionally. You'll see me switch over to, it's kind of hard to see because we're moving so quickly, but you'll definitely see me switch over to a paintbrush. It's a soft bristle, like blender brush, but it's nothing super special. It's just a short bristle brush, and I use that to just blend in the graphite down into the tooth of the paper. Because with paper like this, when you're shading, you're gonna get like gaps of areas where it's not blending down into it unless you press really hard, and graphite polishes as you press really hard. So to try to avoid that as much as possible, I will use that blender brush to just get as much of that graphite down into the crevices of the paper tooth. The paper that I'm using is a Strathmore 400 series drawing paper. It's an 18 by 24 paper. So the prints that I'm going to do are probably going to be 18 by 24. So I wanted to draw the drawing the same size that the prints are going to be and keep it more true to life. Every once in a while you'll see me switch over to an eraser. It's pretty here and there. It's not super common when I'm doing this. I'm trying to avoid having to use one, but occasionally I have to. And I use a few of them. I have a Factus BM2 mechanical eraser and a Tombow Mono 0 mechanical eraser. Usually I cut that Tombow 0 to a little wedge shape, so if I need to get really fine details or pull something back out, like a really fine little detail. And then I also use a General's kneaded eraser. That kneaded eraser is like probably used more than any on this, because you can adjust the shape and change the shape. I can, turn it into a like a knife edge shape. I can turn it into a fine point shape. I can round it off and kind of dab out little bits of graphite if I need to, and like highlighted areas. And then I also use a Pentel high polymer eraser. It's the rectangular eraser that you'll see me grab occasionally. And then the other blending tool that I use is it is a blending stump. And the blending stumps are great for like fine detail blending, but I would say more than any in this drawing especially, I use the soft bristle, the blender brush over the blending stump. But the blending stump comes in really handy for just little details that I need to blend out or blend in, and I don't stick with one. I usually will use one, and once it kind of picks up a lot of graphite on it, I'll grab a new one, especially if I'm going from a dark area to a light area, because it will take that dark graphite and blend it into your light areas. So I try to avoid using a blending stump that I've used in the darker areas over in the lighter areas, and so I'll grab a lighter, or I'll grab a new blending stump for those areas. So the other thing with this drawing is that this is not a finished piece even at the end. This is a collab piece that I'm doing with another artist. His name's TC Combs, and he has a YouTube channel that he just started, and you can find him at T space Combs, Combs. I'll link everything down in the description. I'll link his Instagram, and I'll link his YouTube as well. But he's another local artist in Eugene, Oregon. He's a tattoo artist, so if you jump onto his Instagram, you're going to see a lot of tattoos that he does, and he's a really great artist. Working with him is going to be cool because he has a very different style, so I do more realism, and TC does more of a graffiti graphic style. It'll include a bunch of pieces of Jordan's life and things about him, certain like hidden messages, and all that art will be up above Jordan in that white space that you see up there. So he'll fill that space with just pieces of Jordan's life, things that happened to him, his NBA titles and all that stuff. So it'll be a collage of things up there. It should be pretty cool. He's working on that piece right now, and that video hopefully will be out shortly. But like I said, I'll link it for you guys to follow when it's all finished up. So here this is kind of like the final stretch. I'm just going in and just getting little fine details here and there, pulling highlights out, or shading some areas that I wanted to in. So there's the finished drawing. That's been sprayed probably 5 to 6 times with light layers of a matte fixative, and so it just pulls out the shine from the graphite pretty much completely. And that's a workable fixative, so you can go back over the top. You could spray it, lock that stuff down, and then go back over the top. I don't usually do that until the very, very end, until I know that I'm completely done, because if I want to go in and maybe erase something or dab something out, I can't do that. Once you spray that fixative down, it locks that graphite in, so I wait until the very end to do that. And then if I want to kind of like fine tune a line here or there, then I might do that. But I know once I spray that fixative, it locks that drawing in. I really appreciate you guys spending the time and watching the video all the way through. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share it if you can. I really appreciate that, and we'll see you guys next time.